Welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, the basketball edition. Hey, why do I say the basketball edition? Well, for those of you who are new around here, you may not know, but I'll throw it out like I do periodically. I don't just talk about basketball. I talk about a lot of things: politics, culture, faith, education, and more lately, sports. So this is a basketball edition. Let's get to it. How many of you saw the video clip of the young man where Team USA played Japan today? He had a nice sign that he was holding up. Let's take a look, and then we're going to talk about it. So you see this guy right here, he's got a sign. His sign says, "You need Caitlin Clark to beat us." And what we see here at the beginning, what we're seeing reportedly, we're seeing Alyssa Thomas, A'ja Wilson, and then they're going to bring in Brittany Griner, because apparently, at least reportedly, they've spotted the sign. So there, Alyssa Thomas, she thinks it's funny. And then A'ja, she's letting Brittany in on it. And look at Brittany. Brittany's staring over there at it. A'ja's pointing over there. And then, you know, the sign says, "You need Caitlin Clark to beat us." And Brittany just kind of stares. And then, you know, I have a feeling she's talking a little smack after that. Let's take another look. And you see her talking over here in the corner, right? Yeah, she's not appreciating that. And she is over there in the corner again, running her mouth. See her mouth moving? And they, you know, they kind of laugh about it. They, you know, you get your A'ja Wilson, of course, who, you know, two-time back-to-back champion with the Aces, and leading the league, likely going to be the MVP this year. I mean, it's only halfway through the season, but at this point, with over 27 points a game, etc., you know, people find her to be the favorite for MVP. Not everybody agrees, and that's fine. That's not my point. My point is she's a star in the league. And so she sees that. She got her mouth wide open right here. And Brittany doesn't like it either. Alyssa, you can tell Alyssa over there, she doesn't like it. And, you know, I get it, right? But let's go over and look at the sign. So here's this young guy, and he's got the nerve to actually have a sign letting them know, "You need Caitlin Clark to beat us." Now, obviously, that's not true. When was the last time Team USA lost a game? Now, it's possible they can lose. You can't take anything for granted, but they don't need Caitlin Clark there to beat Japan. But they need Caitlin Clark there for other reasons. And part of it is just kind of look up in the stands and there's your answer right there. So, you know, I'm sure they're saying over there, we don't need Caitlin Clark. But I want to make a bigger point here. And that is this. Okay, he's partly right. Y'all need Caitlin Clark, as I just said. And that was the whole conversation when they left Caitlin Clark off the team. That she's talented, but even beyond the talent, or in addition to the talent, I might say, is that she brings the attention they want to have as they're trying to grow the game. So I'm not going to revisit that whole conversation. What I'm going to say is that what's funny about his sign is that, remember, Coach Reeve, Cheryl Reeve, is the coach of Team USA, and she coached them during the All-Star game. But she is the one who said early on during preseason, she got ticked off. She didn't like that people were talking about Caitlin Clark and the Caitlin Clark effect. So she decided to come out and say, you know, there's more than one team, you know, and then, of course, she means there's more than one player. And then when she was asked, when the Fever had to go up against Minnesota, she was asked about the fans, you know, who were going to be there. And she was just like, I don't give two SHITS dookies, as I say, about that. I don't even give one. about that, you know. So she tired of hearing about Caitlin Clark. You've got other people in the league who feel the same way, who've said, you know, it's more than Caitlin Clark. It's Me Too. There have been people who've said she's only getting the attention because she's white. You know, there have been a whole lot of things said about Caitlin Clark, and some, not everybody, of course, and some obvious angst about the attention to Caitlin Clark's game and what she brings. And so they decide, ridiculously, not to invite Caitlin Clark to go with them to Paris to participate. That's their decision to make. And they made it. Why? Because they don't want to be, it's not because what they said. It's not because she's a rookie. History tells us that rookies have been on the team. It's because they don't want the shine on Caitlin Clark. They want to break from Caitlin Clark. And there they go, all the way to Paris, all the way to the Olympics. And what do they encounter? A Japanese dude with a sign reminding them of who they left back at home. USA, you're not going to win without Caitlin Clark. And of course, that part's not true in terms of the game on the court, but you're still losing because you chose not to bring Caitlin Clark, who's going to add to your game. So you want to get Coach Reed, who's the coach of Team USA, said, I'm tired of hearing about Caitlin Clark. Basically is what she's saying. I don't give a beep about Caitlin Clark fans. I don't, and even Diana Taurasi, when she was about to face Caitlin Clark, and they talked about that, and they said, oh, you're going to get to go up against Caitlin Clark. She was just like, should be fun. And she kind of just turned the other direction. We're tired of hearing about Caitlin Clark. And they go all the way to Paris, and what happens? Caitlin Clark in your face. So that's just kind of ironic to me, wanting to get away from her. You leave her home, and she's still there via a sign from a Japanese young man who seems to know better than Team USA what they need, big picture. So now let's go to Coach Dawn Staley, who's a part of the selection committee for Team USA. And she was asked about Caitlin Clark. Let's take a look. Now, YouTube won't allow me to show the video without a problem, so I'll just explain it. I'll just sort of summarize it. You probably have seen the video anyway, but Dawn Staley in Paris was asked about Caitlin Clark as a member of the selection committee. She was asked, now that you've had some time, what do you make of her not being invited on the team? And Staley said that as a member of the committee, you're tasked with putting together the strongest team possible, and that Caitlin obviously didn't stand out to her or to them as the strongest person 2 months ago. And she was a rookie, and, now she's playing phenomenally. And so if the decision were being made now, then Caitlin would be highly considered. And so she went on to say, Caitlin is an elite passer, and that she shoots the ball well. Her basketball IQ is way up there. She is playing head and shoulders above other players. And so, she has grown in just 2 months. She's become more seasoned, and therefore, if that had been the case before, then she would have been highly considered. So let's break this down, because I've heard other people give their take on this, and I've read some titles, some headlines, and people are going the direction of saying that Dawn Staley admitted that Caitlin Clark should be on the team. I didn't hear that. Okay. What I heard was that if she were playing back then, 2 months ago, the way she's playing now, going into this break, then she would be in really high consideration. So we would have given it more thought. if she were playing then the way she's playing now. And so she still doesn't say that Caitlyn deserves to be on the team. She won't go that far. She's saying she would have been in high consideration, whatever that means, because it seems to me everybody who put their name in should be in the same amount of consideration. She goes on to say she's shooting the ball really well. Now I might, I don't know the numbers, I haven't run the numbers, but I'm going to throw out there that Caitlin Clark is, as far as like her threes go, which she's known for, she's not been shooting the ball well from threes. And maybe she needed to rest her legs, whatever. I'm gonna go so far as say she's really not shooting the three well. And I would think not as well as she had been, but like I said, I haven't run the numbers, but she's found other ways to be effective. She's been driving to the basket, and obviously she leads the league in assists with 8.2. So she always finds a way to help the team to dominate, if you will, many times. And so I don't know what I make of what Dawn Staley said, but of course she's right. Caitlin is an elite passer, and she deserves to be on the team. But she didn't go so far as to say that. She didn't at all. Maybe just some food for thought. Remember, they made the decision, and Dawn Staley, she didn't back down from her decision. It sounds to me like she thinks they made the right decision at that time. Which is kind of odd to me. Number one player coming out of college, you don't have to be on the WNBA team to be in the Olympics. So, yeah, it's kind of corny, but maybe, just maybe, that was her diplomatic way of saying, you know what, she should have, maybe that's a diplomatic way of saying she should have been on the team. I know it, you know it, but Coach Reeve, I don't know. Anyway, it's just ironic to me that you leave this girl home, you go all the way to Paris, and she's still right there with you. You can't get away from it. It is the Caitlin Clark effect. All right, thank you for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you next time. God willing, God bless you abundantly.